Day 2 in Houston. It is hot and muggy outside, but we are indoors at Minute Maid Park. Game number 2 of this 4-game series as the Sox and Astros try to make tonight as entertaining as last night. It was a close game. Astros by 1. Rule number 1 in TV, don't wear the opposing team's colors. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. Defensively, the Sox were great last night, and that kept the game close.
You can't have good pitching without good defense, and last night the defense was sterling, not only turning double plays, but making outstanding plays and all. And we'll take a look at a couple 5-4 threes. Moncada on the pivot, he does a nice job of getting it there, but Riznik's got pretty good speed, and they cut him down also. Take a look at this one. George Springer can really run, and Tim Anderson with a big arm from the hole guns him down at first base, and then Abreu home, the rundown. They cut down at the time the tying run, and all things went well for the defense. Unfortunately, late, it started to dissolve because of a leadoff walk in the 9th inning.
But the Sox took the lead before that thanks to another big hit from Leury Garcia.
Leury Garcia, coming off the bench, has done a good job, and last night he got a chance to start and did an even better job. So first of all, the pinch hitting in Cincinnati, he does a nice job with that. Drives home a key run. He continues going up the middle, and then last night he got a start. And in his last at bat, he took it out of the ballpark, and at the time, the Sox led 3-2. Unfortunately, it did not hold as Soria gave up his first run in a couple of months, and it all dissolved.
Well, Carlos Rodon was quite good on the mound yesterday as the starting pitcher. Reynaldo Lopez tries to duplicate that.
Reynaldo Lopez has been throwing the ball very well, and he had a really good run at it in Texas. So back in Texas for his second start on the road trip. And last time out, the fastball was very lively. The Rangers having some problems with it. The slider was very good, and the slider keeps getting better. So Ronaldo's 4-5, his ERA at 3.68. This is his 18th start, and he does keep getting better, and he goes deep into the ball games. And last time out, he had to do just that.
Trying to keep down a very good offense for Houston, top 5 in Major League Baseball. Sox and Astros, game number 2 is on the way from Texas.
By Toyota. Tested. Trusted. Toyota. Toyota. Let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite. Hold true.
This franchise, the Houston Astros, tied forever with NASA and the history of our space program, formerly playing in the Astrodome, which went up for its first game in 1965. Now Minute Maid Park, the home of the Astros since 2000, as the Sox try to even the series after a tightly played game yesterday. 4-3 in favor of the Astros. The late run from Yuli Gurriel driving it in after Springer tied the ball game. And Houston will take the field with Lance McCullers Jr. on the mound. The Astros with the best ERA as a team in Major League Baseball and threatening to be one of the best pitching staffs in Major League history. As we give you the Sox starting lineup that'll take on McCullers, it's brought to you by the Webb Auto Group. The best lineup of Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price. Go to webcars.com. Okada at the top, 7 for his last 19. Avi, 3 for 5 career against McCullers. Kevin Smith back in the lineup in the 7th spot after the day off yesterday.
Defensive setup for the Astros presented by UI Health. And this is how A.J. Hinch is going to put them out there with Kemp, Springer, and Reddick in the outfield. Bregman, Gonzalez, Altuve, and Gurriel in the infield. Tim Fedorovich behind the plate, and our Lexus experienced amazing starting pitcher is Lance McCullers Jr. On for his 18th start, he's 9-3. His ERA a touch above 3.5. 106 strikeouts and 101 1/3 innings. His control has been good. When he's right, he's got a great curveball. He lost it for a few starts. Now it seems to be back.
You think the Sox might see some curveballs today?
I think if he's feeling right, they're going to see a whole lot of them, and they're usually very good. Now, inexplicably, for 10 starts, he pretty much lost that curveball, and he had to develop his straight change. So the straight change has gotten better. Now the curveball is back, so he's going to be a better pitcher for it. And the Sox are hoping to get to him early. If you can get him before that curveball comes to him, you got a chance. If not, well, then it's usually a long night for you.
Ricky Renteria's team comes in 30-57 after losing the finale in Cincinnati and game 1 here, trying to get back in the win column tonight. And it's Yohan Moncada, then Sanchez and Abreu here in the first for the Sox, who scoring about 5.5, more than 5.5 runs per game the last 13, with a batting average of .280 over that time. So the offense really starting to kick up for the Sox. McCullers, first pitch. Moncada goes after it and sends it into left field. Tony Kemp is underneath, and pitch number 1 yields out number 1. We are underway at Minute Maid Park tonight.
Here's the umpires for the game tonight. Alan Porter has the plate. Angel Hernandez at first. The crew chief, Bill Miller, is at second, and Todd Tishner is at third base.
One down for Yolmer Sanchez. Sox got an RBI double out of Yolmer in the 6th inning yesterday. Sox were trailing in the game 2-0. Then a response of 2 runs in the 6th. Omar Narvaez a home run. Yolmer Sanchez the RBI double, and a very nice season for Sanchez this year.
Yolmer's hitting the ball very well. He's gotten some key hits from both sides of the plate, and on this road trip he's come through from the right side of the plate.
There's a breaking ball for a strike. 0-2 on Sanchez, who is the league leader with 9 triples.
There's that curveball from McCullers. It's a short, quick breaking curveball, unlike the real big one a lot of other pitchers throw. His is in the mid to upper 80s consistently.
Since Major League Baseball started tracking pitch type in the last 11 years, no pitcher has thrown as a starter a higher percentage of curveballs than Lance McCullers Jr.
He's got a good one.
In the dirt, check swing, no go.
It's down to Todd Tishner, and he said that Yolmer gets another life in this at bat.
You know, rare is the day when you look at the pitches each pitcher throws and the percentages. And the highest percentage is the curveball. 45% of the time, that's what he throws.
That's very rare. He's probably the only one in baseball who's even close to that.
Fastball buzzes inside. 2-2 on Sanchez.
Culler's a first-round draft pick back in 2012. He was in the supplemental round, the 41st overall.
His dad, Lance, spent parts of 7 seasons in the majors. On the ground, only one man is over there. And that is out number 2. Bregman throws out Sanchez. So Bregman on the move tonight with Marwin Gonzalez in the lineup. Bregman plays third, his customary position here, though he grew up a shortstop.
The Astros play a different defense in this ballpark. And what they do is they let the scoreboard act as the 4th outfielder, and they move Kemp into left center field to take away the alley. Now, a lot of teams won't do that, but they figure with the scoreboard there, you hit it over, it's a home run anyway. You see how far Kemp is. He's a corner of the scoreboard, actually just a little bit to the right of the scoreboard. They take away left center, and then they have Springer in center field tonight. He's able to cover all kinds of ground.
A lot of nooks and crannies in this ballpark, fewer than before with Tal's Hill being removed. That wonky hill with a flagpole on it initially.
Yeah, it was a very difficult center field to play, especially because you were actually running uphill when you got to about the 415 mark.
Fastball gunned in for a strike. 2-2 on Jose, who leads the team with 27 doubles, but he's been stuck on that number for a while.
He's hoping for McCullers to hang one of those curveballs.
Fastball instead, bottom portion of the zone, and a 1-2-3 inning like Verlander had last night for McCullers. Reynaldo Lopez summoned to the hill after this. Two spot has worn out the Sox this year, 7 for 17. Reddick, the left-hander, in the 5 position. Kemp bats left-handed as well, 9th.
Defensive setup for our ball club presented by UI Health, and this is how Ricky Renteria is going to put them out there with Palka, Engel, and Garcia in the outfield, and Yomer, Liuri, Yohan, and Jose in the infield. Kevin Smith gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher, Reynaldo Lopez, on for his 18th start. He's 4-5. His ERA 3.68. You look at the rest of the numbers, he's not a strikeout pitcher, but he is a power pitcher.
Springer goes after the first pitch, and he is out.
Yuan playing up the middle, so he had a long run for that ground ball. He made the play easily, and 1 pitch, 1 out.
Lopez last time, 6 1/3, 7 hits, 2 earned runs. He walked 3, punched out 6. But notably, he threw 114 pitches, his season high, in the sweltering heat of Arlington.
We'll have to see how he bounces back. Normally, he's very strong. Normally, he has no significant drop off of his velocity throughout the performance, and it doesn't matter how long that performance is.
One out for Bregman, who takes ball 1. Lopez saw the Astros and vice versa on April the 22nd. He gave up just 4 hits and 1 earned run in 5 innings. He did walk 4, struck out 2. Of the 4 hits he allowed, only 2 of those are in the lineup tonight. Springer had a double, Bregman had a single, and the other 2 were Carlos Correa, who's still on the shelf.
I don't think Correa is going to come back anytime soon. He's got a back issue, and so far he's done no baseball related activities, and so he was eligible to come off when this series started last night, but physically could not do it. AJ Hinch says we don't expect him. He will heal at his pace. They realize that they're most likely going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, the goal is to win the big prize again.
Yeah.
They right now, opening play today, were a game and a half up on Seattle in the American League West and have basically left everybody else in the dust. Oakland 9 back starting play today. And a lot of head-to-heads left with the Mariners, as we documented last night.
Well, it's pretty amazing because head-to-head they have seen an awful lot of the Texas Rangers, and that's most unusual for this part of the season. But the ball club has played them 16 times, and we're just starting July.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. They've only played Seattle 6 times.
Very close. Lopez really could have gotten that call and didn't. It's ball 4 to Bregman.
That was a good pitch and had most of the plate. When you look for perfect pitches, well, this is pretty much it. Outside corner at the knees. It's fairly unhittable if you get it there, and he seemed to get it there, but did not get the benefit of the call from Alan Porter. And I think Coop wanted to know if it was down or it was wide, and if Alan Porter said it was wide, Coop is going, I don't think so.
You wonder what Alan could have said that wouldn't get him that reaction.
Yeah, at that point, I mean, he's not arguing the call, he's just asking where it was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then cringing.
A little cringe, yes.
Here's Altuve. That's down, ball 1.
So because of his home run last night, everybody in the press box, and I mean there were boxes and boxes of some local pizza place delivering, it looked to be 30-40 pizzas to the press box.
Every time Altuve homers,
yes,
he sends up pizza to the media.
How about that?
Well, they're due for a lot of pizza here because he had 24 homers each of the last 2 seasons. 8 right now.
Well, he saved it up for the one last night because that was a blast.
That went to Neptune.
Yep, got every bit of it. And Carlos did not make too many mistakes last night. He was very good. That's one of the pitches he left out over the plate.
Throw to first.
Bregman runs, 8 stolen bases, been caught 4 times.
Two-0 is in there for a strike, 2-1.
That's exactly what is right.
Tim getting the day off after being hit in the arm with a pitch yesterday. He says he'll likely be back in there tomorrow. Tim didn't want to sit out, but a little swelling and a day off. Notably, he slid feet first on the stolen base after the hit by pitch.
He also made it fairly easily. So Tim is not exactly a one-man gang stolen base wise, but he's got 20 of them.
Yeah, he's on pace for a huge stolen base season in these times. Go to first. Bregman back in. Astros got 3 base runners in the first inning last time they saw Lopez, but couldn't score. Eventually only getting the 1 run off of Lopez in 5 innings. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Lopez has got to be careful, because if he doesn't step to first base, they're going to call a balk again. They called him on it once this year. You cannot throw across your body. You actually have to step, and sometimes he doesn't step quite as much.
Home this time. Bregman runs. Ground ball, second base. They stay out of the double play because of it. Moncada to first. 2 down. Jose Altuve, we talked about that home run from last night. Number 8 on the season. And it looked a lot like this. Brad Lidge to Albert Pujols back in 2005. And that ball ended up in Galveston somewhere.
Yeah, that was a little bit further, I think. But this one was a long way.
A little comparison shopping.
He admired that. You can't blame him.
The hunt is on for that baseball. Brad Lidge's reaction to that Pujols home run.
Well, you don't have to tell a pitcher. Number 1, you can tell by the sound. Number 2, you can usually tell by the location and the swing. And pitcher doesn't even have to look. Just usually ask for another one.
Yeah, that was 2 hands on the head down to a couple knees and try and regroup. Yuli Gurriel, who had the game winner last night, bats in the first here in game 2 and takes up and in.
Gurriel is a contact hitter. That was one of the reasons why in that situation with the bases loaded, he was one of the toughest outs in this lineup. He's only fanned 32 times this year, 280 at bats. And that is very much a throwback to a bygone baseball era where you try to make contact all the time.
Popped it up. Back of home. Kevin Smith for round number 3. Walk does no damage. No score after 1.
As you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the Hold True moment later in tonight's game. I personally cannot wait for the Hold True moment.
I can't either. There's always a game-changing play.
It's usually very exciting.
Especially if you're watching on Sling TV, as we welcome all our viewers doing that.
Sling Blade?
No, just Sling TV.
Oh, okay.
Everybody who's got a broken arm watches on their device holding up the arm. Avisail Garcia, strike number 1. Avi is swinging more than he has in his career right now. He's swinging at about 61% of the pitches he sees, which is not a massive departure, but it's up from last season.
Well, when you're as hot as he's been, and since coming off the DL, he's been very hot, you might as well take advantage of it by swinging at just about everything, as long as most of the pitches are in the zone. One of the two was.
0-2 from McCullers is in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, Avi had his 14-game hit streak broken last night. He was 23 out of 61 during those 14 games. And that's strike 3. McCullers with his second straight strikeout.
That was the changeup that we talked about, and the only thing good coming out of the fact that he lost his curveball for as long as he did was the refinement of his change. When you throw in the mid-90s, that changeup looks awfully good, and that was at 87. The motion is good. The release point is exactly where it is for the fastball. And so as a very young pitcher, he's learning some finesse, and it came a difficult way, losing his mainstay pitch.
Well, he's a guy certainly who's willing to adjust and willing to scrap at 6'1". He's not exactly Randy Johnson out there on the mound.
No, and he also doesn't have that big a fastball. It's a good fastball. It's not a great fastball. That is a great curveball. In fact, 72 of his 106 strikeouts coming in. That's just about 68% are with his curveball. So you can understand where he would lean on it.
Strike 3 in the dirt. Fedorovich the throw for round number 2. McCullers, when he was younger, was a pretty short guy as compared to the rest of the guys being scouted. So when he knew scouts were coming over to his house in high school, he would put 3 insoles in his shoes to appear taller.
I think that's a good idea. They got him listed at 6'1".
Yeah.
So what, he looked like he was 6'8"?
Massive insoles. 2 out, bases clear. Matt Davidson, who was 0 for 3 last night. Breaking ball for ball 1. He's all over the strike zone. 1-1.
In the early going, at least, even when he's missing, he's not missing by much.
Astros team ERA, we told you, at 2.85, best in baseball. 933 strikeouts, nearly 80 more than any other team.
Well, that one just freezes you. I mean, that curveball actually started behind Matt, who's a pretty decent curveball hitter. But that's not a decent curveball. That's a late breaking, very good curveball that a lot of pitchers throwing the similar pitch would call a slider.
Strike 3. You're going to have to call your buddy the pitching ninja after that one. The one before the strikeout.
military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag Hats Off for Heroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Beautiful night for baseball here in Houston. The roof is closed, 72 and well lit as Reynaldo Lopez throws to Josh Reddick with strike one. 15-pitch first inning, a walk, 2 groundouts, and a foul pop-out for Lopez. On the ground and through, base hit for Reddick.
Reddick had a tough night last night, and it figures the way he's been swinging the bat. And it's been really hot lately that he would turn it around with a good night tonight. And that one, even with the shift, he hit it right through the shift. That was a slider that stayed outside, and Reddick, even with 3 guys on the right side of the infield, found a hole.
That slider has been the pitch that Lopez added last season that he's relied on more heavily than the curveball nowadays.
I think it's going to be a really good pitch for him. That one stayed up a little too long, but by and large, he's thrown it well.
What do you like about the slider developmentally for him?
Well, first of all, he's a fastball pitcher, and so the slider usually is a power pitch, and I think it's easier for him to rely on. It's easier for him to command and control, as opposed to the curveball, which is thrown completely differently. Slider is more a stiff wrist pitch, and I think it just goes hand in hand with a lot of the fastballs he throws. I think he will learn finesse as he goes along. He's a young 24-year-old who's going to need a little bit of time, a few innings in the major leagues, to be able to acquire the finesse it takes to consistently use what you have on a daily basis. But that'll come to him. Right now he's got a great arm. You can't teach that. So as far as his potential, it's sky high, and he's got top of the rotation stuff.
On 2-0, it's a strike to Gaddis, 2-1. Evan Gaddis, who had a 32 home run season a couple of years ago, slugging .494 this year, second best on the team. He does have the top beard on the team.
He does that.
He would not have the top beard in our production truck. Chris Kamka is here this weekend.
But with Chris Kampa, it does not lean over the inside corner. You could actually hit his beard without hitting him.
Well, with Chris, if he leaned down like Gaddis is right now, baseball trivia would fall out. We've learned something in the first 2 days here. It is that the Houston crowd does not really love throws to first.
They don't like it at all. They have no patience for it. They are throws to first intolerant.
2-1 for Gaddis. Off the high leg kick, a strike, 2-2.
Reddick doesn't run a great deal these days. 4 to 5, however, in stolen bases. And with the lead he has early, he's not going to steal. Now, if he expands that lead, well, maybe. And right now, that lead is a little bit further out than it was on the first few pitches.
Two and two after a long hold. That's strike 3. Gaddis goes down swinging. Lopez first strikeout.
This time he uses a slider, only it's not sliding like it should at this point. That ball stayed on the inside part of the plate. And I think Gaddis picked up the spin of the slider. Then when it didn't break, it fooled him. That ball just stayed inside. That's not something that Reynaldo wants to do, but it was very effective there.
So here's Marwin Gonzalez, who's not having his typical offensive season right now.
Had a big hit last night.
Yeah, he did. Astros solved Joakim Soria. Nobody done that in about a month and a half.
Well, the key was that walk to Kemp leading off the inning. You put a speed merchant on base representing the tying run. All of a sudden it tightens up what any pitcher would have to do. And then Marwin came up and dropped one into right field, putting runners at the corners, and the winning rally was on.
Reddick goes. Throw down to second is Not in time. Stolen base.
Fifth stolen base of the year, and so that lead was getting a little bit longer with each pitch, and Reddick took off and beat the play. He got a running start that time as Ronaldo completely forgot about him, and a two-step jump is going to get you into second base most of the time.
When you pair that with the leg kick from Lopez.
And a one-hop throw, and Liuri did a nice job of picking that ball because that could have wound up easily in center field.
Just a couple of starts at shortstop this year for Garcia, as Reddick is about halfway to his career high in stolen bases. That ball's tagged to right center field. Angle is there. Gonzalez really gave it a ride. Reddick on to third, 2 down.
Well, you could tell that Josh Reddick has played outfield in this ballpark because even though that ball was hit hard, Reddick knew that it was going to be caught by Angle. He looked out like all good base runners will, looked out, saw where the outfield was set up, realized that Angle was going to run down that fly ball. So he tagged up at second base, and it got him to third, 90 feet away from scoring the first run of the ball game.
It's the 124th Major League game for Tim Fedorovich, who's pressed into action with the injury to McCann. 3 for 14 at the plate this year. Spent most of his time at AAA Fresno. In for a strike, 1-1. How many teams do you have to get to for you to be called officially a journeyman?
Well, we prefer the much-traveled player.
Oh, that's so you are included.
Well, I played with a lot of teams here and there.
Well, Fedorovich has been on 4 Major League rosters: Dodgers, Cubs, Giants, Astros. Is that enough, or is he right in the borderline?
That is the borderline. But how about the minor leagues? Probably made a few stops there, I would assume.
Oh, a bunch of them.
Yeah.
He was a Red Sox draft pick, never got up with Boston. That one's laced foul left side, 2-2.
Ronaldo's got to tighten up that slider because he's hanging too many of them inside. With the friendly Crawford boxes, very inviting, only 315 down the line. You don't want to hang too many of these inside, and he's hung a couple.
That was just about the same spot as the pitch to Gaddis.
Yeah, and Fedorovich most unhappy with himself because he saw the spin, he got out too quickly, and could only yank it foul.
Two and two from Lopez. Fedorovich in the air and playable. Daniel Palka with the call, and the ball
Only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
Kind of sounded like your Homer Simpson impersonation.
And one of those and my Billy Bob Thornton Sling Blade impersonation. They all kind of blend into one another.
You're turning into Wimpy.
In the figurative sense, yes.
Yeah. Kevin Smith, the batter. First pitch, ball one. I actually had the occasion to call Tom Paciorek the other day because there was a story in The Athletic, the online sports journal, about the exact day the Mendoza line was created. They were trying to pinpoint exactly when he and Bhakti started calling the thing the Mendoza line, and it was Bhakti that Wimpy says actually came up with it. But the writer was trying to figure out exactly when it happened, and Wimpy did not know, doesn't remember. Said the writer's got as good of a chance as I do to know, but he did say that Mario Mendoza, who the Mendoza line was named after, was a great guy, but the light hitting label belonged on him in one way. Wimpy used to say, evidently, when Mendoza made contact, as Kevin did not go 2-2. When Mario Mendoza, who the 200 Mendoza line was named after that day, Wimpy said they used to say when he was at the plate, boy, the bat really jumped off the ball.
That's good.
Inside, that got him. Kevin's on. First base runner tonight for the Sox.
Probably the best way to keep down your walks is when you get close, just hit somebody.
You wouldn't know anybody who did that.
No. And that one just got away, got the hip. No harm, no foul.
Wasn't it? Care to throw anybody under the bus for being the type of person who would, late in the count, to stop from throwing a walk, hit a guy?
I had a pitching coach who did that. And he was a pitching coach for the White Sox. Hard throwing right-hander by the name of Stan Williams, had a clause in his contract, and it was a walk clause. And when he got to 3 balls, if it was 3-0 or 3-1, he just hit the guy, so it kept down his walks. He got the money for the incentive. And that was a very good curveball, biting low and in. Urie's in a hole.
Who wrote that contract? I mean,
I'm not sure if it was when he was with the Indians or maybe with the Dodgers. I'm not sure exactly.
Nowadays, they'd say total base runners or something like that,
yeah,
to avoid for that situation. Breaking ball called strike 3. That came back and just kicked the corner.
Now 2 pitches ago, Lance McCullers looked at his finger after throwing that curveball, and he throws a lot of them. And with a lot of pitchers getting blister problems, you would wonder if in fact he's working on one now, which won't come into play this early, but he throws so many curves and the spin is so tight, that might be something to bear in mind.
So why does a curveball heavy pitcher create more blisters on his hand?
Because you're usually holding a seam and it's friction against that seam. In the case of McCullers, his curveball really is very much of a slider. And so a lot of slider pitchers will get blood blisters under usually the nail on the middle finger because they haven't trimmed it back quite as much as they could. But a lot of pitchers are saying that this baseball, which is different than the baseball in the last few years, is creating more blister problems this year than ever before. And you see it a lot around baseball where guys will come out of starts with blister problems this year.
Bunch of pitchers have said that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Steve, home runs were down significantly in the month of June.
They were. Yes, indeed.
So you wonder if the times they are a-changing again.
Could possibly be.
1-2 on Angle.
If McCullers keeps that breaking ball down there, hitters have no chance whatsoever.
Even if you choke up like halfway up the bat?
You'd have to be on top of the plate, and you would have to choke up quite a bit.
1-2. That is strike 3. 6 strikeouts first time through the order, just like Verlander yesterday. Join us for the annual Double Duty Classic Tuesday, July 24th. The next generation of inner city high school baseball players faces off at Guaranteed Rate Field. Admission and parking is free. First pitch 1:05 p.m. and gates are open at noon. Visit whitesox.com/DDC for more information. Moncada takes ball 1. There are no days off offensively against this Astros pitching staff in a series. Just none.
No, the rotation is loaded top to bottom. They've got a couple of guys in their bullpen that probably would be starting any other place but here. There's one of the guys that is a mainstay of this team, but he got a no decision last night despite throwing very well.
No walks, 10 strikeouts.
Justin Verlander.
Two and 2 on Moncada. Smith at first, 2 out. Called strike 3 on the very edge. 7 strikeouts for McCullers as the Sox go upstream.
Garfien goes one-on-one with Danny Farquhar. He opens up about his brain injury, what life has been like since, and his desire to get back on the mound. Watch Inside Look, presented by Cadillac, next Friday at 7, or stream the show on the NBC Sports app.
That will be a great conversation between Chuck and Danny.
What a great story.
Oh.
The whole Danny Farquhar situation, starting out in a tragic scenario, only to end up in a triumph of both spirit and soul for Danny Farquhar.
Astros were in town when that happened. That was Sox and Astros back on April the 20th. As it's 2-0 on Kemp, the final batter in the order for the Astros, former Futures Game representative back in 2015. And those Futures Game rosters were announced today. 2 Sox are going to the Futures Game, Dylan Cease and Luis Alexander Basabe. Now with the AA Birmingham Barons going to the Futures game in Washington. Three and one from Lopez. That's there for a strike. Hey, Tony. Here's the thing.
The umpires really don't like that a whole lot, especially from very young players. It wasn't like this one was on the borderline. This one actually had the plate and came over at the knees.
Three and two. And Kemp stays alive. So there were 50 Futures game players last year. 14 are currently in the big leagues. The pipeline is getting shorter. Outside ball four. Kemp gets the benefit of a close pitch on 3 and 2. New bleachers and brews dates have been announced. Get one bleacher seat and 2 beers for just $22. You got to be 21 and over with a valid ID. Bleachers and Brews presented by Budweiser. To get your tickets, visit whitesox.com/brews. So the leadoff walk to Kemp, who has 3 stolen bases this year. And now Springer, who's 6 for his last 72. There goes Kemp, and the Sox have no chance.
Well, Kemp didn't even bother getting up because he knew there was no chance when Lopez went to the high leg kick. I mean, you got a base stealer up in Kemp who's got good speed, and you go to the high leg kick and you got literally no chance.
And Springer knew it. He took the pitch all the way.
Just the 4th stolen base for Kemp, who's been playing better and better. Came in hitting .301.
Line drive foul. And a drop.
Springer came into the ball game last night in the throes of a terrible slump, went 0 for 4, and then in the 9th inning drove home a big run. And sometimes it's just one at bat to turn things around. This is a guy that can hit homers in the 30s when he's right, and this year it appears he's going to do that again, but the average is down. He has, however, hit 15 home runs, but got off to a very good start, and now in the throes of that slump.
He's down 0-2 here. AJ Hinch and Jose Altuve having a little discussion. Oh-2 inside. George Springer has never had a year under 800 on base plus slugging. Right now he's below 765.
That's going to turn around. He's just too talented a player to stay where he is at this point.
AJ Hinch keeps him at the top of the card even with that slump going on.
Take a look at this lineup, and when everybody gets healthy, you put Correa and McCann in this lineup, they are really deadly.
Throw to second. They've got him.
Good solid play by Moncada. Good timing by Lopez, and Kemp was actually going to third base. He was hung out to dry. The throw is right there. You couldn't ask for a better throw. Yuan got there, and watch Kemp. Kemp's going, oh, I think I got problems. Yes, you do.
Yeah, he was right.
You are out.
A lot of problems. 2-2 on Springer.
Yuan's doing that more and more. Anytime you can get an out without making a pitch, you want to try to do it, and I think the Sox will probably do more of that as guys get more comfortable together.
That is part of the growing process, is not only individual improvement, self-improvement, but also those unspoken feelings, those unspoken understandings you have between players, those mesh points.
And there's a lot of ways where you can make the game easier, where you don't have to pitch and get 27 outs. You can get them like that. At least one or two of them like that.
Especially when your pitching staff, as it is this year, has given out the most walks in baseball. You're going to have some extra base runners. And to pluck them off is certainly a positive. 3-2 hit in the air, right hand side. Avi collects out number 2. Avi still catching up that piercing on his left ear.
It takes a while, I can tell you.
By experience?
Oh yeah, I got a flesh color piercing. It's very subtle. I go for subtlety.
Like the beginning of What's New Pussycat?
Not exactly, no.
2 down, and there's strike number 1 to Alex Bregman, who walked in the first. Two walks, 1 strikeout for Lopez, and he hits Bregman.
Bregman's hit for the 5th time this year. And Kevin wanted that one low and away, and Bregman got it off the tricep.
That gives Altuve an opportunity. The real one, not the cutout.
I would think we might see Bregman running. 8 out of 12 this year.
They've already stolen 2 bags on the game. And he draws a throw. Some great offensive players have come through Houston, and this is another heyday for the Astros.
Altuve was here in the really lean years, and he could have left and decided that he liked the direction the organization was going in, so he stayed around and got himself a ring last year because of that.
There's a strike to Altuve, and you look at some of the names who have come through Houston. These are the career WAR leaders according to Fangraphs: Bagwell, Biggio, Berkman, then Jose Cruz, Cesar Cedeno, Jimmy Wynn, and Jose Altuve. Joe Morgan, people forget, started his major league career here before going to Cincinnati.
He was traded for Lee May.
Altuve is already one of the beloved Astros of all time.
Well, probably because he didn't escape when all was falling apart in this organization. Everybody admires the fact that he stayed around. Admire the fact that he acted as a transition from the bad times to the really good times, and won an MVP to go with it.
Foul of third. He was an all-star back in 2012 when the Astros were one of the teams with 1 all-star typically, and then the last 4 seasons as well. 56 stolen bases, 2014.
There was a time when he wasn't the run producer, the home run hitter. He was just a guy that was a good defender with great speed, and he was a good hitter. Wasn't a great hitter. He's become a great hitter, and he's become a guy that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, as we saw last night.
What speaks to how good he was as just a pure hitter is 2014 he makes the all-star team. He hits .341, only 7 homers, but that year 47 doubles. The doubles have declined a little bit as the home runs have increased, but people kind of grow into their power. Oh, 0-2 Bregman at first. He draws another throw. This one hopper.
Nice play by Jose, because that one could have easily have gotten away, and on a carom, Bregman might have been standing at third base. That time Ronaldo tried to step back off the mound, and Jose made a nice stop.
He almost went Pito over tea kettle.
Or he could have stepped in the middle of Bregman's back. That would have slowed him down a bit.
Not ideal for camaraderie over at first base. That ball wounded into center field on 2 strikes by Altuve.
That slider stayed up, and Altuve took advantage of it.
Not exactly Michael Jordan with the tongue out, but he does lick his lips quite a bit.
Chapstick commercial in his offing?
You know what?
No?
You're the merchandising guy.
That's true.
Make that happen.
Okay, you got it.
2 on 2 out Gurriel. 50 pitches for Lopez. There are some trapdoors in innings when you get Altuve to 2 strikes and have an opportunity to get out of an inning. You almost have to put him away because there are not that many chances with this team.
They get just a group of good hitters. And now they're going to meet at the mound.
Altuve this year with 2 strikes is a .236 hitter, and yes, that's well down from his average for the season, but it's well up from the major league average.
As they were meeting at the mound, Gary Pettis, the third base coach, went out to second base to talk with Bregman. He had a fairly animated conversation, so I'm not sure exactly what he could possibly be telling him, except maybe a good secondary lead. One thing about this ballpark, and Daniel Polka is playing awfully deep in this park. This is like Fenway Park. Left fielder can get away with playing a lot more shallow. He's probably, what, 10 steps off the warning track? You just don't have to play that deep. It goes over your head. It's either going out of the park or off the wall. You can take away some line drive base hits by playing more shallow. That's what this park and Fenway Park have in common.
And if you haven't played it before, you can get caught too close to that wall and have it ricochet right back past you.
Yeah, there are some odd angles as the ball comes off that wall.
All those slats there are opportunities for angular bounces. 2-1. A rocket through the left side. Polka's up with it. Bregman scores. Astros 1-0.
Yeah, unfortunately, with a base hit to left field and Daniel deep, there's no chance at all to get Bregman. You wouldn't have had much of a chance, but you would have had some chance. And you got to take advantage of the ballpark, and the Astros know it very well. They play it like a fiddle, as you would your home park. But there's also some disadvantages of not taking what the ballpark will give you. RBI number 41 for Gurriel.
This is also the first left field that Daniels played this season. Taking a look at his defensive alignment sheet as Reddick takes a strike. To finish the point on Altuve as a 2-strike hitter, .236 his 2-strike average this year. League average 171.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, not that it'd be shocking that Altuve would have good numbers, but to be a good 2-strike hitter is fairly difficult.
Well, especially in baseball today, and the reason is that there's not a 2-strike approach by most hitters. Most hitters still take the bat all the way down. They still swing as hard as they can on 2 strikes, just like they do on 0-0 or 1-0, and many more strikeouts because of lack of a 2-strike approach.
Oh, 0-2. Pitch count climbing for Lopez. Don Cooper, you ask him about any of his pitchers, what do you want tonight? He says, get us deep into the game.
He usually does take it deep.
1-2. Up the middle and playable for Garcia to retire the side. Bregman, Altuve, and Gurriel bag a run, and the Killer Bees loom over Minute Maid Park. .com. Ran into a Sox fan in the hotel lobby the other day with a big group that came to the ballpark. They're here actually for the entire weekend. Dan Marquez and his large group visiting.
How large is that group?
I think they have a couple dozen.
That's great.
Yeah. The Grinders. Second base, Altuve. Out number 1. Here's your Sox math question for tonight. Hashtag Sox math. First correct answer wins a prize from the road. Steve's Grape Soda. Number of games in this series multiplied by teams other than the Astros or Sox Carlos Lee played for, plus his Sox jersey number minus his Astros jersey number.
Very intricate this time.
This is the Carlos Lee Bowl. Sox and Astros.
At that time, as you know, 2 different leagues.
It's true.
Now, same league. How times change. However, this grape they have here, which is not soda, by the way, is just magnificent.
It's like grape juice soda or something. In the air, right side and foul. 0-2.
McCullers' stuff is just outstanding tonight. And when he lost his curveball, I'm not sure exactly where it went, but it couldn't have looked anything like this because he's been in command on both sides of the plate of that curveball tonight. Most of the time it looks exactly like a slider would look. There was his changeup, which he throws in the high 80s. You don't see many of those, especially when you consider his fastball is 93, 94. Doesn't appear to be enough a disparity between the two pitches, but he makes it work.
He's got 0-2 here, and it's in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We mentioned his dad, Lance McCullers, former second-round pick of the Phillies back in 1982, so you just missed him.
Yes.
Not that you played for the Phillies, but in baseball at that time. He ended up playing for the Padres, the Yankees, the Tigers, and the Rangers in 306 games. And in case you were wondering how to connect them through teammates, here it is. So just 3 degrees of McCullers. Senior played with Benito Santiago, who played with Carlos Beltran. And then Beltran played with Lance Jr. for the 2017 Astros.
It's amazing,
isn't it?
Whew.
Just 3 degrees to get the McCullers together.
Santiago was the best I had ever seen at dropping to one leg and throwing to second base.
Isn't it amazing?
It was one of the things he did exceptionally well. Not only a strong arm, but he was accurate and kept consistently gunning down base stealers.
If you haven't seen him do it, you need to go to YouTube and type in Benito Santiago. Kevin tried to do it earlier. Usually it's because of a time constraint when anybody other than Santiago did it.
True. But that time, that was stolen on Ronaldo Lopez, not Kevin.
8 strikeouts for McCullers.
So McCullers did not have a complete game this year. And he's averaged under 6 innings per start. However, in looking at the stuff tonight, this is no hit stuff. Now, he'll probably make a mistake or two and give up some hits, but well, the stuff is just outstanding.
This will not be a hit. Marwin Gonzalez slings it over. And only 1 base runner so far for the Sox. Bottom 4 next. And time now for Old Dominion bringing his best. And the subject is Evan Gattis, who struck out in the 2nd inning. 49 runs driven in since May 12th, the most in baseball.
That's pretty good.
He had 8 before that. 57 total.
He's been strangely silent in this series, however, although it's very early in the second game. 0 for 4 last night. And didn't really hit the ball hard. Did manage to ground into a double play, however.
Thought I had that foul ball.
Came close. Be difficult to get one up here, actually.
Yeah.
But with a very high net between us and them.
Base hit. Fourth hit for Houston. 2 walks, a strikeout, a hit batter as well. And that plunking of Bregman is the only run as he came around to score. Marwin Gonzalez, whose first 25 career homers were solo home runs, oddly enough.
That is an oddity.
Off the plate outside. Three 3-0 on Gonzalez. This Astros team, 3rd best on base percentage in baseball. They will take their walks.
You got to be careful because with Fedorovich up behind him and then Kemp, A.J. Hinch might give him the 3-0 green light.
That was not a pitch he was going to swing at. 3-1.
Just probably a touch below the knee. It's not one you can elevate, although all of his power comes from the left side. He's a switch hitter.
And you see, it's very likely that he will pull it. That's why there are 3 defenders there. Three and one. Houston winners of 3 straight as Don Cooper hopes to save the bullpen from significant use tonight. Although with every pitch that gets less and less likely. Three and 2. Ball 4. 2 on, nobody out. Don Cooper to the mound as we give you the winner of Sox Math tonight. It is T. Dillon 90. 4 games in the series, 3 teams other than the Astros or Sox Carlos Lee played for. Jersey number was the same both places. Add 45, subtract it again. 12 is your answer. Although this tweet from Art Stafford is truly remarkable. It was from about 40 minutes before the question was put up on the screen, okay? It says this, #SoxMath. I have to leave home. I have DVR'd the game. If I solve during the replay, I'll be too late. Therefore, my answer is 12. And I checked to see if he'd done that with like 5 or 6 different answers. He hadn't. He got it right before the question was up.
That's pretty good. Jeez. Was it wrong to tell him?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
What an outstanding call.
Do I get part of that?
No, he gets all of
ahead
it.
of time?
I know you like to call plays before they happen, but this guy got Sox math right before it happened.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I think that he hacked into your system. I would check it were I you, or I can check it. You know, my IT ability is unmatched.
Yeah. In terms of your IT ability has a negative WAR. 0-1 to Fedorovich. And he takes outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
At first blush, you would say this is the ideal situation for a bunt because they're back on the left side, but Fedorovich probably hasn't been asked to bunt too much.
1-1. Into right center field in trouble. All the way to the wall it goes. Gaddis scores. Marwin Gonzalez follows. No throw to the plate. The Astros on a 2-run double from Fedorovich have a 3-0 lead.
Certainly wish he would have bunted, but those are the first 2 runs he's driven in all year. He came in with just 14 at-bats before this game, and we'll watch it again. He got his fastball, it was out away, and he drove it into the gap, and as it rattles around, Gaddis scores. Gonzalez scores, and Fedorovich goes into second base.
Extra base runners for Houston is never a good idea, and Gonzalez with the walk after the Gaddis single. By the way, coming up shortly, we will be joined by Nick Hostetler, Sox farm director, to talk about some of the signees. Not Sox farm director, scouting director. I gave him Chris Getz's title. Some of the signees from the draft that the Sox have just finished up contracts with. So we'll talk to Nick, the Sox scouting director, shortly here by phone. One ball, 1 strike on Kemp.
Kemp is trying his hardest in his at-bat to try to pull the ball, although that's not necessarily what he does. He does have an open stance, however, and if Ronaldo gets that ball middle in, that's a pitch he can pull.
.72 pitches. 5 hits, 3 walks, and a strikeout, and the Astros a 3-0 lead. Too high.
Very high pitch count with nobody out here in the 4th. Don Cooper going to make that call to the pen, it appears.
Begrudgingly to the phone because Bruce Rondon and Xavier Cedeno have each thrown 3 straight days. Cedeno only for 1 pitch yesterday. Minaya threw 28 pitches yesterday. Hector Santiago 40 on Tuesday. So you'd imagine Hector could be used. Jace Fry is the freshest bullpen arm. He hasn't thrown the last 2 games. It's a called strike, 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes.
It's Chris Volstead loosening up in the pen as Kemp keeps the at-bat alive.
That was us.
That was. Can't believe you're wearing their colors.
I just misread the probable pitchers. It said McCullers, not where are colors. 3-2. In the air. right center field angle on the warning track. Fedorovich gets to third and one away.
Well, Kemp, who's homered a couple of times, gave that one a long ride. Adam Engel able to run under it and make the play. Kemp and Altuve seeing eye to eye on that.
Springer, the batter. He's 0 for 2, a ground out and a fly out.
Infield in all four positions.
Nice stop by Kevin to keep the run from scoring, although Fedorovich with catcher's speed over at third, you don't know if he would have tried to come home depending on the bounce.
There's not a whole lot of room behind Kevin Smith here, so if you get a lucky bounce, it's not automatic on a ball getting by you that the man at third is going to score.
There's a strike, 1-1. To shortstop, and no movement from Fedorovich except back. Garcia throws out Springer, 2 down. But 80 pitches through 3 2/3. You would imagine ideally for Don Cooper and Ricky Renteria right now, 5 innings would be the pocket you'd like Lopez to end up in tonight.
Well, let's say that it's a 3-pitch at bat with Bregman, which he's been fairly patient, so it might go a little longer. But if it is, you could conceivably get him through 6. He could throw 110 tonight, but it was an extended outing pitch-wise last time out. Bregman squared around, thought about a bunt with Yomer way back at third base, but pulled it back.
It's a great note from Chris Kamka. If I had air quotes, I would put them around great just in case. Alex Bregman is from Albuquerque, New Mexico. We knew that. He has never faced Al Albuquerque. Just fell right out of his beard.
It's pretty good.
That's a great note. 1-1. Ball and 2 strikes on Bregman. Fedorovich at third. And if the Astros are going to get production from their catcher who came up from AAA, this lineup is going to be scary again. One and 2. He struck him out. Second strikeout for Lopez. Sox scouting director Nick Hostetler will join us by phone after this. inning, we're joined on the phone by the Sox scouting director, Nick Hostetler. Hi, Nick.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing great, doing great. So you got your top 33 draft picks signed. Did you expect that, and what does that mean to you?
I think we expected the guys to more towards the top of the draft to be finished and out and playing. I think there were a few that, as the process developed over the course of the month, we were excited to get in the fold. And I think, for us as a staff, we were excited. And I think it adds in a little bit of a feather in a cap into our guys and our area scouts and the effort that they put in to get to know these guys and know the signability, know what it was going to take to get them out and playing pro ball. So all the credit in the world goes to those guys and the effort that they put in throughout the year to know what it was going to take to get these guys part of the organization.
Nick, tell us a little bit about Nick Madrigal and what your plans are for him, where he's going, when's he going to start, all of those things.
Yeah, Nick just signed last week, towards the end of last week, and played in his first game last night, albeit with a couple hit-by pitches. I'm not sure that any of us were really excited to see that from the standpoint of taking care of your guy in his first go-around. But it was fun to see him out there. It was fun to see some pictures and read the game reports this morning and the energy that he brought. And, Nick's going to play again there tomorrow night, and then in talking with Chris Getz, it sounds like they're going to send him to Kannapolis after the game tomorrow night, and he'll start playing with the Intimidators at that point. And I think from that point forward, Getzy and his staff will evaluate where Nick's at, where the rest of our prospects are at, and what they're doing, and as well as the teams, and kind of lay out a plan for the rest of the season going from there.
So we have this list of draft picks signed. Who are the late round guys that really stood out to you, if you can pick a couple that Sox fans should know about?
One of the young men that we took was named Bryce Bush from the Detroit area, a high school kid from De La Salle. He was on our area coach team, and we had known Bryce for a while. We have a good relationship with Bryce, and he was signed to go play at Mississippi State. And we took Bryce late in the draft. He came to our pre-draft workout prior to it, and put on a nice display and showed his power there, and he was really impressive. So when we took him, we told him that the process was. We explained to him that it was going to be a sit and wait and see what we were going to have financially available for him. And at the time, I wasn't too optimistic that we were going to get Bryce done, but as the process went on, our area scout Justin Wexler knows the family inside and out. They were very close, and Justin communicated to us that Bryce wanted to play. So we started that process, and Bryce is one we're extremely excited about. There's big-time bat speed, huge raw power from a corner infield position, so we're looking forward to following him. I think Jason Morgan is another one, the right-handed pitcher from North Carolina. He's a guy that has had Tommy John. He hasn't pitched this year. We had saw in the past and liked his stuff, and our TrackMan data and everything analytically checked out as well for him. So he's another one we were really excited to add here late as the deadline approached.
Nick, you've been in player development and scouting for a long time. How unusual is it to see 33 of your draft picks all signed, relatively quickly?
Yeah, this is one of the most we've signed in a while. And again, Stoney, it goes back, and I keep saying it, but it does really go back to what our area scouts put in and the time knowing these guys. Because I think there are times in the draft where you take a guy and you sit and wait and you hope you get him signed. There's other times you take him and, he may be a backup plan for somebody in the higher rounds that may not sign. But in this case, it just all really lined up. The stars aligned for us, and it's exciting to see. I know that all of our guys, as a scout, you want to get a player and you want to be able to throw your name on him and have that player go out and play. So it's nice to see our guys that to have that opportunity with these players.
If you can pick out one guy who you were genuinely surprised, because everybody says this, boy, I'm surprised he was there when we got our pick. But if you were going to pick out one guy that you were surprised and very pleased that he was there, and it doesn't matter what round it is, what guy would you look at and say, we got him in this particular spot, we didn't think he would be there, when he was, we were ecstatic?
Yeah, there was a few of them. I think as high as Connor Pilkington was one of them. I think just knowing where we started with him in the fall, even last summer, and then progressed through the offseason, knowing that he was a guy that we targeted as a guy that we needed to see early because he may fit in that mix up at 4. And in the way that his season went, it didn't happen for him. And and again, that goes as a testament to our scouts staying on players. They stayed on him more, and he just absolutely loved the kid. Thought he was a tremendous makeup kid that needed an opportunity and a change of scenery. So, I think that he was one of them that just jumped off the page at us. That was really, and I even had a talk today with one of our guys that said, wow, he really believed that we got him in the 3rd round. So that was one of them that I think we're very shocked, but also very happy that we were able to snag.
Nick, thank you very much. 3 outs in the inning. Really appreciate your time. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time.
Nick Hostetler, 3-0 Astros. Houston, no hitter on the board for Lance McCullers Jr. Only 1 base runner against him as Reynaldo Lopez is back out to the hill to face Jose Altuve. And there's ball number 1. Astros got 2 last inning on the Fedorovich 2-run double.
I think if Reynaldo can keep it to a minimum of pitches this inning, he might be able to go out there again. But that's going to be difficult. Altuve, Gurriel, Reddick, and if anybody gets on, Gaddis this inning.
Foul of 3rd, 1-1. You mentioned Chris Volstad up and throwing previously for the Sox. He's thrown 59 pitches the last 4 days, and there just has not been a reset point during this road trip for the Sox bullpen to get back to zeros.
So you knew when you looked at the schedule and you knew you were going to Arlington, Texas, and then Cincinnati, and then Houston. You were going to 2 wonderful hitters' parks. This one hasn't been quite as good, but it's still a good hitter's park.
Garcia. Not by much.
I think they're going to take a look at that. I think they want to hold up because they believe in the dugout of the Astros that Altuve beat it. Credit him. He's hustling down the line all the way, and an extra bop of the glove, and looks like, well, they're still not sure.
This is going to be a review. A.J. Hinch has challenged.
So they're going to take a look at it in New York, and Leary, if he got rid of it right away, would not have been a question because he's got a very strong arm.
That's why the look on Ricky Renteria's face right there.
Well, I mean, you get a guy who was a shortstop. However, He has not played shortstop except one time. We saw it on this trip. And, you know, sometimes you lose the timing of whoever's going up the line, and Altuve can really run.
We're looking for the ball in the pocket of the glove. I think he's safe.
Looked to me like he was safe. Looked to me actually like he was safe in real time, but got the out call from Angel Hernandez. And he is indeed safe. So it does go as a base hit.
See, that's one of those plays, too. I think you can make the argument that it shouldn't have to be a bobble for an error.
No, he should have been out with a clean throw, but that extra pat of the glove, and that's all it took.
Second hit for Altuve. Gurriel, the batter. This could be two. Garcia, Moncada, double play. Just like that, the runner wiped away, and 2 down.
There's a redeemer in the very next play. Good solid throw in a perfect spot. You want it to the glove side. You'd like it letter high, and that was in a great spot.
That helps Lopez in his quest to get through 6 tonight. Strike one pumped into Reddick. He's become much more of a ground ball hitter. Early in his career, he was significantly more inclined to hit a fly ball than he is right now.
That's when he was hitting a lot of home runs.
Off the plate, 3-1 from Lopez.
Reddick hit 32 home runs with Oakland in 2012.
Ball 4. 2-out walk. And time now for the White Sox Farm Report. It's presented by Guaranteed Rate. And it's Nick Madrigal, the Sox 4th overall pick, 1st round pick in the 2018 draft. You see the on-base percentages. This year, he struck out 7 times compared to 16 walks.
That's really amazing, and that's, I'm sure, one of the reasons why he was drafted with the 4th pick in the 1st round. Putting the bat on the ball and keeping it in play consistently puts pressure on the defense.
He said the other day when he was asked how he became the hitter that he became, and he said he and his dad and his brother, growing up in California, they would go outside and just hit balls over and over and over and over again. That was part of their routine as a family every day. And so very early on in life, he realized the value of not only command of the strike zone, but repetition.
Well, there's very few sports where being a small guy is an advantage to you. One of them, obviously, is in horse racing. But outside of that, in this sport, I believe it's an advantage. Because, number one, you've got a smaller strike zone.
Yep.
And I think it's much easier to command a smaller strike zone. When you're 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", you've got a big strike zone, and it's a lot of places to cover. And so, yes, you do have longer arms. However, you have a lot more space in your body where you've got to command that zone as a hitter. But as evidenced by the fact that both Pedroia and Altuve have been MVPs of recent vintage, you'd have to say that there is an advantage to having to command a smaller zone. And that's the beauty of baseball, is there isn't one size. You don't have to be a giant to play the game. So I think Madrigal is going to do just fine.
The belief is there's power in that bat too.
Well, you grow into your power, there's no doubt. I mean, you'd love to see these guys come in and you can say, okay, 30 home runs from this guy. But all the baseball's littered with guys that hit single-digit home runs in their minor league career. You look at it, and all of a sudden, Jose Ramirez, one of those guys. He had single digits down through the minor leagues, and all of a sudden, the last couple of years, actually the last 2.5 years, he's hitting the ball consistently out of the park. You just grow into that power. You understand what the pitchers are trying to do, and if you got fast hands and very strong hands and wrists, you're going to be able to generate a lot of bat speed.
3-0 is downstairs, back-to-back walks. Reddick and Gaddis and Marwin Gonzalez will bat. Against whom? .97 pitches. Ricky Renteria out to the mound, and we will see if he does call for Volstad. That is the move. Lopez will leave through 4 2/3. Astros up 3-0 when we come back.
Point, Porter Moser reflects on Loyola's run to the Final Four. MLB wives battle it out on the field for a good cause, and one authentic fan went from Mount Everest to the mound. The Extra Point, tomorrow at 12 on NBC Sports Chicago. Time now for the Lakeside Bank call to the pen. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. And Chris Volstad comes in to try to close down the inning. On to the 29th time, he's 1-5, his ERA up close to 5. He inherits a couple of Astros at first and second, but there are 2 outs. Marwin Gonzalez stands in the way.
For Reynaldo Lopez tonight, 97 pitches, and the put-away stuff just wasn't there. He struck out 2, and that tells a portion of the story. But 16 foul balls and 3 swinging strikes.
Normally, when there's a little extra life on the fastball, many of those go by hitters. When there's not the extra life, they foul it off, keep the at-bat alive. The pitches pile up, and 5 walks, a testament to that.
Marwin Gonzalez after the first one for strike 1. Volstad, we saw a couple of days ago. He threw 27 pitches on Independence Day in Cincinnati. 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit, 1 unearned run. And the ball that he had the error on, trying to throw home to Narvaez to cut down the lead runner with the bases loaded in that 8th inning he threw. On the other side for Houston, Lance McCullers Jr. 5 innings of no hit ball, 9 strikeouts, 1 hit batter.
Very impressive so far. We talked about the stuff early. The fact that he had no hit stuff, and he still has a no hitter through 5. But he does not have a complete game this year.
Well, you said early he had no hit stuff.
Yep. And he does not have a complete game in his career.
We'll see whether or not that changes tonight. Lifted foul, 2-2. Astros are trying to hold off Seattle in the American League West. Seattle a game and a half back of first place Houston and playing later on tonight against Colorado. That game soon to start at Safeco Field. Tough play. Garcia charges and gets the out. Nice play by Leori Garcia to strand a couple and leave Lopez with just the 3 on his tab. 6th inning dawns after this. Game celebrate a birthday, anniversary, and more with a scoreboard message. Proceeds benefit White Sox charities. To book your message, visit whitesox.com/scoreboard. And time now for a verbal scoreboard message. Happy birthday to a huge White Sox fan, Jen Grikis Macari. Happy birthday, Jen. Also, happy birthday to Lance Johnson and Greg Norton, among others.
Happy birthday greetings for one and all.
Lance McCullers Jr., no hits.
No walks. And Kevin Smith took one in a hip. That's the only base runner.
Strike 3, ball in the dirt. And one away. While we're on the subject of White Sox birthdays, it would be, if he had not passed, it would be the 125th birthday for Shovel Hodge, former White Sox player in the 1920s with a career .517 ERA. Shovel Hodge.
So you are sure that he did pass away?
I am.
Is that just a rumor?
No, it was 1967. One down for Adam Engel. And ball 1. All right, who's got the best chance to break up this no-hitter?
This chance would be Yomer.
based on his swings tonight?
Just
I know
based on-
sometimes you just see this stuff.
Sometimes I do. Yeah. I just think
It's creepy, actually.
I looked down the whole lineup and my eyes first settle on Moncada, but I switched to Yomer. Or
Adam Engel is the one to do the trick.
How about that one? He stayed right with it. That ball out away and took it into right field, and the magic is over. Now will be kind of a testament to the concentration of Lance McCullers, because the no-hitter dissolves. That breaking ball was flat, and Adam was able to take it into right field. Normally at this juncture, I mean, we're talking about the 6th inning. I like when the catcher goes out to have a word with him, but we'll see about the concentration of McCullers.
He was trying to become the first Astros pitcher to throw a no-hitter since Mike Fiers back in 2015. They also had a combined no-hitter. Roy Oswalt was injured for. Nolan Ryan has certainly done it
a few times.
In 1981 with the Astros for Nolan. "75 pitches, 50 of them for strikes." This into right field and down for a hit. So suddenly the Sox have piled on back-to-back hits. Tying run coming to the plate with Sanchez.
I hope nobody goes to the mound, because I think the air comes out of that balloon and you become very vulnerable after being unhittable through 5 1/3.
You feel the focus kind of go away?
I just think the air comes out of the balloon, and for whatever reason, especially when you're a young pitcher, McCullers is just 24. He's an emotional guy, and he made literally no mistakes in the early part of this ball game, and he left that ball on the inner portion of the plate. Moncada takes it into right field.
1st and 3rd, 1 out. Sanchez, who's driven in 10 runs his last 10 games. Ball number 1.
Fedorovich is a good catch it and call it guy, but he's not the best thrower around. So this is a pretty decent running situation, and you stay out of the double play if you decide to go with Moncada.
He holds this time, and that's a called strike.
Usually don't get that call, especially it was off the plate and Fedorovich was standing up ready to throw. Alan Porter gave him the benefit of a very close call, and it went McCullers' way.
Up the middle, off the mound, into center field. Sox are on the board. Moncada to 3rd. Sanchez drives in. Engel. It's 3-1.
And RBI number 41, and now Fedorovich goes to the mound. And for the Sox sake, it's right on time. So 3 hits in a row after the no-hitter went by the boards, and Yomer takes it right back up the middle. And it's a 2-run game.
Jose Abreu, couple of strikeouts tonight on 2-2 counts, and this ground ball is big trouble. 6-4-3, and the inning comes to an end. Sox do get a run.
Xfinity, and it's Tim Fedorovich, his first runs driven in, and that's the difference in the ball game. Taking it up the gap in right center field, chasing home a pair. That made it 3-0. It's now 3-1.
So Fedorovich with the big hit in this game so far, his 4th hit of the year in the majors. There's strike one as the Sox will return home next week for 2 with the Cardinals. That's Tuesday and Wednesday. The Dexter Fowler soap opera travels to Chicago. And then the Royals over the weekend, and that weekend is going to be great fun with the 1993 reunion on July the 14th. That 93 team, by the way, in July went 18-9.
It's a nice July.
Yeah. Stats courtesy of the great Joe Rody, I'm told. 18-9 in July, 13-4 to finish the month. 34 homers in the month of July. So it's the perfect time to have the reunion. One and two. That's strike 3 called. Fedorovich punched out. Volstad's first strikeout. Saturday, July 14th, Sox and the Royals, 1:10 p.m. The 93 reunion.
I heard that before.
I'm an Oracle. Ozzie and Bo and Tim Raines and a whole lot of others. First 20,000 fans get a commemorative 93 authentic fan pennant presented by NBC Sports Chicago. Get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Newly minted Hall of Famer Tim Raines will be there. Moncada to first, and quickly 2 gone. All right, so here's some of the guys who will be there. Wilson Alvarez, Jason Beret, the Deacon, Warren Newson, Gene Lamont, Terry Bevington, Craig Graybeck, among others.
It's a cast of thousands.
It is.
At least tens.
Third base. Volstad, rapid fire in inning number 6. Went by just like that, 3-1. Other than the last batter, what was the biggest play of the game yesterday for you?
Wow, there was a play in the hole with Timmy Anderson that took him almost into left field. I mean, I could talk about the offense, but he made a play deep in the hole that everybody's been, talking about his inability to do something like that, and I think he continues to improve and made a great play in the hole.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So that's one thing with Ricky, and that's one reason that you wish Tim Anderson was able to play today. He got hit on the arm with a pitch last night, and he can't go back out there and build on that defensive play Ricky was talking about.
He's been playing really well, both aspects. Well, all three, really. Stealing bases. The defense has gotten considerably better, and he's stinging the baseball.
Here's a defensive play Renteria was talking about.
Also, it wasn't exactly a slow guy running. George Springer can get down there, and Tim just threw him out from the deep hole.
Marwin Gonzalez off the grass for out number one.
Marwin doesn't have the big arm, doesn't have to, because he's got a very quick release and it's accurate. He throws from the side but seems to get it there in good shape just about every time.
He is a huge benefit on your team as a bench player. He can play literally everywhere.
He can play every position, certainly infield and outfield. Don't know if he can catch, but doesn't have to. But a good player, a switch hitter, and the last couple of years, big offensive years for him.
AJ Hinch in the past has put it this way. He said Marwin answers a lot of questions for us on the bench. Things that arise in game that you'd like to have somebody to plug a gap for, and Gonzalez can be that either as a reserve or as a starter. Time called. Tried to thread that on the inside corner and missed.
Pin up and going. Brad Peacock, one of those guys that probably could start for a whole lot of teams. It's not this one.
They got a couple of those dudes out there.
Cullen McHugh, another one of those guys that could probably find a spot in just about every rotation except this one.
That's Orbit, the Astros mascot, making friends. Great hearing. Tremendous listener, that Orbit. Strike three, 11 punch outs for McCullers. Orbit just got hitched. Where's the honeymoon? The Astrodome?
Probably in center field, yeah, I would think.
You're saying Orbit's cheap?
Well, Orbit doesn't have any pockets, so I'm not sure where he's keeping the credit cards.
That is fouled off third base side by Davidson and just out of reach. There you go. Got to worry about going head over heels like Orbit did with her. Oh, and 2 on Davidson. Congratulations. Where's the rice? Who needs a wedding photographer when you have a friend with a phone? Orbit was chatting it up with Yohan Moncada and Yolmer Sanchez before the game. They were having a long discussion. One-way discussion.
Yeah, it seems to be one-sided, but outside of that.
One and 2. He struck him out. A dozen strikeouts for Lance McCullers Jr. And deep in the heart of Texas, the Astros by 2. this. It's kind of fun.
I still like Cotton Eye Joe better, personally.
Instead of Deep in the Heart of Texas?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were a country music
Oh, are you
aficionado.
kidding? Yes, sir. Country and Western both.
It's ball one. From Volstad to Bregman, you differentiate?
Sure. Actually, I like bluegrass the best.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
I wouldn't have bet that. 1-1 on Bregman, who's walked. He was hit by a pitch by Lopez in the third, and then he struck out in the fourth.
Been a quiet night of no contact except contacting him.
Ball was actually in the zone, but Kevin had to reach for it. 2-1. Foul of third. 2-2. Volstad came in the fifth, so Luis Avilan is getting loose.
Kurt Hassler in the background.
Noted Breaking Bad fan Kurt Hassler.
Didn't know that.
Bregman to left field. And the Albuquerque native is just short of a home run. One down. Lopez has seen the Astros now twice. First time around, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned. Tonight, a little bit more for Houston. They ran up 3 runs, and the swinging strikes just 7 total.
Yeah, this is a team that is pretty good at making contact and showed it to Ronaldo a couple of different times. He will strike out some big numbers when he starts mixing in his change and maybe a couple of speeds of sliders. But until then, he's going to rely on throwing his fastball by people. You don't see it often with really good teams.
So now you've got Chris Volstad against Jose Altuve. Volstad, who's been called the giraffe before, and Altuve, who sprinkles his ball into center field.
But we'll see what Ricky Renteria wants, because if Volstad stays in the game, Altuve is going to steal second base. Gurriel's got that batting average at an even 300, and he is a contact hitter.
Since 2014, Jose Altuve has 102, including tonight, 102 3-hit games. That's 20 more than anybody else in Major League Baseball. Just truly astounding control as that ball hits Gurriel. Altuve is not going to have to swipe second base.
It looks like Altuve is going to go to second, but Gurriel didn't look like he wanted to go to first.
He'll take it now, begrudgingly. Joe McEwing trying to figure out whether or not that actually hit him.
Looked like it might have skimmed off the uniform at the thigh, if anything. Certainly didn't hit him hard if it hit him at all, but he reacted facially like it might have hit him.
You're right, he didn't want to go to first.
No, he did not.
Ricky Renteria goes out to the mound. Looks like the hit by pitch will stand. So Volstad, an inning and 2/3, getting the Sox into the 7th. He will exit, and Luis Avilan to face Josh Reddick, the lone lefty in the middle of the order for Houston. Get White Sox home screen icons and features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights,
Hey,
live radio
down,
broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
Our Lakeside Bank
food
called
just
to
makes
the
me
pen.
laugh.
Oh, it's hysterical. Anyway, there it is. Our Lakeside Bank called to the pen once again. It's Luis Avila. Comes on with a couple of Astros. On for the 40th time. He's been a busy man. 2-0 ERA of 4.15.
Trying to keep it close here, 3-1. Altuve at second, Gurriel at first, and Reddick, the batter, to take ball number 1.
Outfield playing Reddick as a pull hitter, which he normally is. Just a couple of steps for Engel to the right of center. Polka is in left center.
High in the air, threatening the roof. Avi for out number 2.
Good communication that time between Yoan and Avi, because as soon as Yoan heard that Avi was going to take it, as soon as he could hear his voice, he peeled away and let him do it. This hadn't normally been the case in the early going, as Yoan was bumping into a few folks, but not so these days.
Well, he twice had collisions with Garcias.
Yeah.
Willie last year, Avi this year.
I think he also had one with Jose at first base.
Yep.
So communication is good.
What was that?
Didn't hear you.
2 down, 2 on. Evan Gattis. Takes ball number 1. Gattis, career 7th in Astros history in slugging percentage, at least opening play today at .480. Number 1's a little bit of a surprise. The slugging percentage leader in Astros history. It's not one of the killer bees.
Greg Gross?
No. It's Moises Alou.
Enos Cabell?
Communication is important. 2 balls and no strikes on Gattis. Big spot here for Avilan to keep it tight. Into left. 3rd ball down the line. Altuve scores. Gurriel to 3rd. Evan Gattis with a double to the left field corner to make it 4-1.
Gattis has been a big run producer for this team. He drives in his 58th. And that makes things a little more comfortable for the Astros. We'll watch it again as this fastball out away. But, you know, he expanded his strike zone, but that's what you expect from a run producer. They don't need him in that situation to draw, walk, and leave it to the bottom part of the order. He is the guy charged with driving in some big runs, and that, for the Astros, was a big one.
Marwin Gonzalez flips around to bat right-handed against Avilan. That run that just scored charged to Volstad, his property as well. Gurriel at 3rd. Well-attended ball game again here at Minute Maid Park on a Friday night in Houston. Oh, 1. This should do it. Moncada and Garcia. And Avi makes the catch again for round number 3. Astros do get a run on the Gaddis double. 4-1. Flying through the air with a crash landing to make a beautiful grab against the Angels. Look at the air he got.
They're playing great ball, and Jerry DiPoto got a contract extension because of that great baseball.
He did trade that contract extension, though, immediately after receiving it.
Traded everything else, but he's traded them into more than respectability. Brad Peacock comes in the game, and he has a pretty good sinker, and it's working well. On for the 35th time. He's 1-3. ERA of 2.25. 52 strikeouts in 36 innings.
He'll face Kevin Smith first. Lance McCullers Jr., 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. No walks, 12 strikeouts.
It's a career high for him, 12 strikeouts. Eclipsing his former high by just 1.
Brad Peacock, whose father Jerry, while Brad was in the minor leagues, followed him everywhere, as parents are prone to do in the minor leagues. They'll come in for a trip here and there. Jerry decided to convert a trailer into a motorhome and drive everywhere, from Myrtle Beach to Syracuse to everywhere else. So he took a trailer, converted it, put a bed in there, put a TV, has a porta potty, at least when Brad was in the minors. He'd drive everywhere, and sometimes he'd just show up unannounced, not even tell Brad he was going to be there. Brad would be throwing his warm-up tosses. And there's Dad. Altuve for round number 1.
And that was some play. Taking another look at it, he's playing at the cut of the grass, able to go back over his shoulder, making sure that he avoids both Reddick and Springer, which is usually a good thing, and a fine play to lead it off.
Sweet Georgia Brown was not playing on the transfer to whomever he wanted to transfer that to, but it doesn't matter. One down, Garcia takes ball 1, and the Sox have Hector Santiago and Jace Fry both getting loose.
So last year, before shoring up their starting rotation, Peacock went 13-2 in 21 starts. 13 times out of the bullpen and 21 starts.
Yeah, you got to shore that up.
I guess they weren't happy with 13-2, so they got a little better in that starting rotation.
He had a 3 ERA. I had 300 hits in 132 innings.
Really an amazing run at it.
Strikeout number 13 for Astros pitching tonight. We haven't seen the Yankees yet. We have seen the Red Sox, and they were a little bit depleted. For me, this is the team you don't want to see in the American League. You?
Well, look. The Yankees and the Red Sox both, they've got a guy at the top with Sale and Severino that can match Verlander. That's number one. And they got some thunder.
Left center field. Oh, mercy. Springer took one away from Engel. Marisnick came in to make the play. It was Marisnick in center field. And Engel is out. What a play by Jake Marisnick.
Into the bottom of the 8th inning. Houston has dominated the season series so far as Hector Santiago comes into this one on for the 28th time. He's 3-3, his ERA of 4.5, and there you look at the rest of the numbers.
So Marisnick just into the game makes a beautiful catch to rob Adam Engel of what could have been 3 bases.
I think we saw in Cincinnati one play by Billy Hamilton where he laid out to make a catch, but it was a catch I thought he could have made standing up. However, this one was a flat-out dive for Jake Marisnick. Just an outstanding play, and how often do you see it? Makes a great play, comes up second.
100% of the time tonight in this ballpark. He's in for Tony Kemp, who's out of the game with the Sox battery of left-handers. Avilan and Santiago back-to-back. 0-2. Line to left. Now, Tim Fedorovich has 2 of his 5 hits this season tonight.
You're not going to see too many better than this. He was in right center field, and he covered a lot of ground. 80 feet to be exact, with a catch probability just over half the time. And that's why he is on this ball club, and that's why he plays defense late for A.J. Hinch.
That's why you bring him in. Santiago to Marisnik. To the point about this bench, there are varying skill sets every day that A.J. Hinch can grab from. It's not 3 of the same guy coming off his bench.
No, and it's got some versatility to it. They've got some power, although, you know, they're not the greatest powerful ball club. They've got some speed. They're not the fastest team. They have some guys who can play defense very well. And you put them all together, and you got yourself a World Series championship team. And when Correa gets back in this lineup, in every aspect of the game, he makes them a whole lot better.
Oh, 0-2. That's up high. Astros play until the All-Star break at home. They've got Oakland and Detroit here at Minute Maid Park before the All-Star break hits. We'll find out in a couple of days whether or not Jose Abreu was voted in as the starting first baseman for the American League. Voting closed yesterday as Marisnik strikes out. Hey, Sox fans, be sure to come watch the White Sox take on the Blue Jays Saturday, July 28th, 6:10 p.m. All fans are invited to stay for a spectacular postgame fireworks show presented by Magellan Corporation. Get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. One out for Springer. That was called ball 1. Sox in the 9th will have the top of the order. Moncada, Sanchez, and Abreu. He's in a slump, but he can really hit. Springer up the alleyway, and he will jam on the brakes around first. No throw as he crawled back to the bag. That's not an easy pitch to hit.
No, he's got very long arms, and he went out and got it. And just like the game last night, he waited for his last at bat to get his first hit. That ball might have hit the outside corner, might have been tailing away out of the zone, whatever the case. Adam Engel got to it quickly because normally this is a 2-base hit.
That had a little bit more of the plate than I thought initially. But still, nice piece of hitting.
It was a good pitcher's pitch, and he got to it.
Alex Bregman. Strike called. Tomorrow's game is a 3:10 start time. And then the finale at 1:10. WGN is your home for White Sox baseball tomorrow. NBC Sports Chicago right back on here. Sunday at 1:10. Lucas Giolito on the mound for the Sox in the finale. James Shields tomorrow. To left field. The Astros get another. Bregman drives it in. Springer does a Tilson, loses his hat. And Bregman into second on the throw.
Might not affect this particular game, but for the future, you got to get that ball into second base. With one out, you have to keep the double play in order, and the trailer, in this case, Bregman, a heads-up play when he saw the angle of the throw in. This ball is away from Bregman. He takes it into left center field, and then he's watching the relay throw into the infield all the way. When he sees it's over the head, he sees it over the head of Garcia. he just takes off. He's watching the angle of the throw. He reads it well and then takes off into second base.
And the Sox are going to intentionally walk Altuve. That's now 11 in a row with a hit for Bregman. Altuve loads the bases, and generally, run expectancy-wise, really interestingly, from 2010 to 2015, those are the numbers that you can find through the researcher Tom Tango. You actually give up 1 run less when you intentionally walk with second and third. You're less likely to give up a run, even with the added base runner, because of the double play possibility. As Avi can't make the catch. That's a fair ball into the crowd. And 2 runs are going to come home.
If you don't look up into the ceiling very often, things like that happen. And I think Ricky wants to see if that ball was indeed a fair ball.
Tough to tell. Let's see here.
It was a fair ball by plenty.
Oh, yeah.
Avi just overran it. And Houston has put this game out of reach.
Hector Santiago just trying to grab a couple of outs. The Astros with 8th inning fury tonight. Two balls and a strike on Reddick. Well, though you typically are less likely to give up a run, you're still likely to give up a run when you intentionally walk the batter. It's like 65% of the time you give up a run. 2-1. Into left. It continues. Altuve is home. Gurriel to third.
Reddick drives in run number 26. He's got 2 hits tonight. Don Cooper's coming out. And the hit and run parade continues. So it's Hector against the world here as you try to get this one over and worry about tomorrow's game.
The situation with Avi has happened before. It was earlier this year. Eric Hosmer had a pop-up that he overran in a key spot for the Padres. It was in the 11th inning against the Astros, and Hosmer played here before.
It's not easy.
No,
especially after a long run, and that was a long run.
Hector trying to work through it. 5 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout in the inning, and Gaddis calls for time. Maybe want to cancel the 8th inning next road trip. Six times on this trip in 8 games.
Yeah, this has not been a pleasant inning.
Sox have given up runs in the 8th.
Last night it took till the 9th.
That's no better. It just changes the stat. That swerves inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Gaddis. Manfred boxes have a new souvenir. And beyond, onto the tracks.
Third hit for Gaddis after a fairly quiet series. 4 runs driven in. And a big night for Evan Gaddis. Our Ford home run replay is a Titanic shot. It's his 18th. Now driven in 61 runs.
Well, this game jumped the tracks a while ago, as Avi makes a catch for round number 2, and the Astros bat around in the inning. Evan Gaddis out of Texas Permian Basin took some time off before embarking on his pro career and has turned into a big-time slugger for these Astros. Fedorovich again. You may remember him from
not too long
such
ago.
Cameos as the single to start this inning. Well, for Hector, the term in baseball that's thrown around is wear it. You just kind of have to sometimes take one for the team.
And this is one of those times. 7 big ones.
Sanchez at third, and that's it. The Astros put up a walking stick in the 8th.
Bizarre, the wild and the rich history of White Sox uniforms. Chuck Garfien and Chris Kampka speak with graphic designer and author Todd Radom about how the White Sox have been trendsetters over the years. Visit NBCSportsChicago.com/podcast to subscribe today.
Very excited for that podcast.
There's no doubt about it.
A lot of knowledge between those three. First pitch from Peacock here in a different looking, shape-shifting 9th inning. It was a close game, and then it wasn't. Starting pitchers for the Astros in 2 games so far. 14 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 22 strikeouts, no walks.
So that's pretty good.
It is wild how effective this rotation is. Reddick's in left field. One away.
Just like we promised, it's time for the Miller Lite Hold True moment. And it is the night of Lance McCullers, and it was awfully good. 5 1/3 hitless. And he was brilliant all night long. Gave up just 1 run on 3 hits. Fan 12, didn't walk anybody. And just an outstanding performance for the 24-year-old right-handed curveballer.
Lance McCullers Jr. along with Verlander have been outstanding in 2 days as Sanchez takes a strike. Well, tomorrow the Sox will take their swings at Charlie Morton, whose ERA is at 2.55.
Been pretty good.
He has been much more than anybody expected when he was with the Pirates or the Braves.
Well, for a guy in his mid-30s, he has found the fountain of youth.
By the way, this day in 2008, Charlie Morton started a game against the Astros for the Braves. He gave up 6 earned runs in 6 innings. Jeff Blum went 1 for 3 in the game for the Astros. And the game went 17 innings. Atlanta won 7-6. Somehow in only 5 hours 35 minutes.
Did Charlie go the distance?
He did not. He gave up 6 earnies. You think they left him in for 17? Hey, a walk. First one given out by the Astros this series, and that's because of these guys in large part. One happier than the other to be in the picture room.
Quite a starting rotation with the only guy struggling, Dallas Keuchel. He's 5 and 8. Other than that, the guys have been dominant.
You look at a 4.12 ERA for Keuchel and you say, oh, he'd be a 2 or 3 for somebody. And he is the one of these things is not like the other for this rotation.
Well, Cole is 9 and 2. McCullers is going to run his record to 10 and 3. Morton 10 and 2. Verlander 9 and 4, but an ERA of 2.15. Not bad top to bottom.
That's a foul ball wide of third. And a nice snag by that fan. 7 runs in the 8th for the Astros tonight to take a close game and detonate it. One and 2. Line to right and foul. Jose is testing the entire boundary of this field.
Yes, he's gone from pillar to post, literally.
Abreu came in 4 for 9 career against McCullers. With 2 strikeouts and a double play tonight as that curveball was mesmerizing. One, 2. No go. Astros on the verge of making it 5 in a row against the Sox this year. Right side of the infield, Altuve. Well, the Sox picked up the first hit in the 6th inning. 2 more followed. And Abreu came up in a big spot, 2 on, 1 out. McCullers got a double play ground ball, and that was it for the Sox rallies tonight.
3 hits in the 6th, and that's the only inning where the Sox got as much as 1 hit.
To right field, driving Springer back at the warning track and the wall. It's gone! Avi sends another one out this road trip, a 2-run shot.
Opposite field in this ballpark for a right-hander is a pretty good trick. Avi hits his 8th, driven in 15 in the Ford home run replay, a towering fly ball to right field. 7 home runs in the last 11 games for Avi.
And with that home run, another generous donation from the Alex Snellius family in loving memory of Ursula. Since he's come back, Avi has been one of the top 10 most productive offensive players in baseball.
Really been remarkable because he spent a lot of time on the shelf and doesn't look like he missed a minute.
Sox basically did the equivalent of going to a party, not having a good time, and then breaking the vase on the way out. Never coming back here again. In the air left field, Polka hits it well, and this ball is out of here. Avi and Daniel go back-to-back again. Another Polk smash in the 9th inning, and it's 11-4.
11th home run, 29th driven in. Another Ford home run replay. In the better late than never category. This one finding the very comfortable Crawford boxes.
All right, 7 more of those.
You never know.
It's true. You never know. Davidson, strike 1. Middle game in Cincinnati, Avi and Daniel each with 2 home runs. They go back-to-back. Second time in 4 games they've gone back-to-back. And now 2-1, the final out proving to be slithery for Brad Peacock.
Last thing A.J. Hinch wants to do with the day game tomorrow is have to go to that bullpen again.
He will do everything he can not to, you'd imagine.
Nope. Nobody even starting to stir, you would expect. 7-run lead with 1 out to get.
Two and 1. Two balls, 2 strikes. Another breaking ball. This one Matt lays off of 3-2. High in the sky, left center field, and that's it. Sox make it sting a little bit on the way out, but Houston gets a win in game number 2.
It's a very good Houston team, and they showed it again, especially late tonight. Good starting pitching set the tone, and then the offense put it away late. So quick turnaround tomorrow. Get your rest, and I'll see you then.
Sounds good. The Astros winners by a big total against Moncada and the Sox. We say farewell for our producer Keon Dolachaki, our director Todd Benjaminson, our